So to understand that, we quote a verse from Tehillim. It's in Psalms. Forever, God, your word stands in the heavens. What does that mean? Baal Shem Tov explains that your word which you uttered, for example, let there be a firmament, V'hi rakia b'seich hamayim, let there be a firmament amidst the water. These very words and the letters that make up these words are firmly forever in the firmament of heaven. And that's what gives it life. These very words. And the holy tongue. Lashon HaKodesh. These words live and stand firm there forever. For these creative letters, if these letters that make up these words, were ever to depart for an instance, God forbid, what would happen? The firmament, the heavens, would return to their source, where they came from. And what's that? Absolute nothingness.
If you want more and an intimate and personal setting, together with like-minded people who seek to grow and become their truest self, click the link below in the description and join the Tanya Rabbi community.
And it would be as if they never existed. As if they never existed. Now, just as it is with that utterance, V'hi rakia, let there be a firmament, so it is with every created thing in the higher worlds, spiritual worlds, and the physical world down here, everything, including the inanimate, including literally a stone. If the letters of the 10 utterances by which heaven and earth were created during the 6 days of creation would depart, but just for an instance, God forbid, all of creation or any of creation that would revert that power of energy, light, word, as it's called here, the word of God, it would revert back to its original form. And what's its original form? Nothing. Not energy, not matter turning into energy, energy being turned to matter. No, energy is also something. It's also a creation. It would all return back to nothingness. And this is what the Arizal expressed, that the inanimate, like a stone, or earth or water, it has a soul to it, meaning it has a spiritual force. And that spiritual force is the letters of speech of the 10 utterances that give life to existence of everything, including inanimate matter, enabling it to come from nothingness into being, into something in the act of creation. Now, if we're saying that this is the act of creation in Genesis, well, stone isn't mentioned there. The word Evan is not there. Nevertheless, the life force that flows into the stone is indeed from the 10 utterances, but by way of combinations of letters, something we'll see later on more about that, or substitutions of letters. Combinations means, for example, you can take the word Shemesh, and which means sun, and take a shin from there, right? So you're now taking a combination from there, and you take from or the aleph, and what do you have? Aish, fire, light, and the sun. The letters from those words now make a combination of a new creation called fire. Or here we're talking about, about stone. Or substitutions of letters. In other words, substitutions means that you can have the letter aleph, but a hey can take its place because they are articulated by the same organ of speech. Or like mem is articulated particularly with lips, so is pay. So the mem and a pay could be substituted. So you can have that letter from a word in creation, like mitoich mem, and it can be substituted for a pay. So what we have then is, if you take all of the 22 letters of the Hebrew alphabet and you make combinations, because a minimum word in Hebrew is 2 letters, like Av, father, or Aim, mother, right? And what you have is 22 letters times 21 other letters. That gives you 462. But then you have them going both ways, backwards and forwards, direct and in reverse order. So that gives you in one direction 231 letters that are ultimately different combinations of letters, and from there that's just some combinations that then you can take from the original 10 utterances and you derive from there everything of creation. Everything was created from there. Again, this is from the Holy Tongue. The very letters of the speech descend by degree of degree, from the 10 utterances recorded in the Torah. And by means of substitution, transpositions of letters that now are vested, those letters, that divine energy that it represents, the divine light, the divine word of God, that gives life to every creature in creation. Now, as we will learn that in creation, as you know, there's lesser forms of life, like an inanimate object, versus animal or human, and the like. So this is just a come down of the divine light by way of the letters and how they come about. And therefore the life force is condensed, contracted, to enclose in a particular creature, to bring them from nothingness into something. And it is that very name in the Hebrew language, the Holy Tongue, that those letters that make up the word that now give not just an identifying mark, this is 8 pen, and it's just to identify this object from, this object or any other object. No, it's actually its life force, those particular letters, as they again descend from the original letters and words that are from the original 10 utterances recorded in the Torah. And all of this is by virtue of coming from nothingness, meaning before creation there wasn't a mustard seed. Before creation there wasn't time or space. That's already creation. That's also already something of creation. That's something of creation. Time, space, a mustard seed. No, absolute nothingness. God is beyond time and space, and therefore before creation there was absolute nothingness. Nothingness that we can comprehend and understand and experience in any manner. And from there emerges from nothingness to something by virtue of God uttering, making the utterance of Vahi Rakia, let there be a firmament, Vahi Or, let there be light. And that expression came from out of nothingness, something that now that is the vital force, those letters that make up the words, or the word of Or, of light, of Rakia, firmament, and so on. And how is this that the words of the Torah have that power? Because the Torah is one with God. And therefore, It's a creative force. End of chapter 1.